subscribers to ASMR special for 1,000 subscribers. If you'd like to participate, please check my community tab. Thank you and enjoy the video. Hello, my nutter butters, and welcome to Natty's ASMR. Happy Halloween, everybody. This is one of my favorite holidays, so I wanted to celebrate. I know I said that I was only going to be posting on Fridays from now on, but I wanted to make an exception. As for today's tingly trigger, I am going to be reading some spooky stories. As you can see, I dressed up as an angel for this video. I love how the outfit turned out. I think it is so cute. And I would love to hear what you guys are going to be going as in the comments. Personally, I'm going to be Mavis from Hotel Transylvania. So that is really fun. But that is enough rambling from me. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd love it if you could like, comment, or subscribe, and I will have all of my links down below in the description as well. Now, let's get on to the video. The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. It's true. Yes, I have been ill, very ill. But why do you say that I have lost control of my mind? Why do you say that I am mad? Can you not see that I have full control of my mind? Is it not clear that I am not mad? Indeed, the illness only made my mind, my feelings, my senses stronger, more powerful. My sense of hearing especially became more powerful. I could hear sounds I had never heard before. I heard sounds from heaven, and I heard sounds from hell. Listen, and I will tell you how it happened. You will see, you will hear how healthy my mind is. It is impossible to say how the idea first entered my head. There was no reason for what I did. I did not hate the old man. I even loved him. He had never hurt me. I did not want his money. I think it was his eye. His eye was like the eye of a vulture, the eye of one of those terrible birds that watch and wait while an animal dies, and then fall upon the dead body and pull it to pieces to eat it. When the old man looked at me with his vulture eye, a cold feeling went up and down my back. Even my blood became cold. And so, I finally decided I had to kill the old man and close that eye forever. So you think that I am mad? A madman cannot plan. But you should have seen me. During all of that week, I was as friendly to the old man as I could be, and warm and loving. Every night, about 12 o'clock, I slowly opened his door. And when the door was opened wide enough, I put my hand in, and then my head. In my hand, I held a light covered over with a cloth so that no light showed. And I stood there quietly. Then, carefully, I lifted the cloth just a little so that a single, thin, small light fell across that eye. For 7 nights I did this. 7 long nights. Every night at midnight. Always the eye was closed, so it was impossible for me to do the work. For it was not the old man I felt I had his room, and with a warm, friendly voice, I asked him how he had slept. He could not guess that every night, just at 12, I looked in at him as he slept. The 8th night, I was more than usually careful as I opened the door. The hands of a clock moved more quickly than did my own hand. Never before had I felt so strongly my own power. I was now sure of success. The old man was lying there, not dreaming that I was at his door. Suddenly he moved in his bed. You may think I became afraid, but no. The darkness in his room was thick and black. I knew he could not see the opening of the door. I continued to push the door, slowly, softly. I put my head in. I put in my hand with the covered light. Suddenly, the old man sat up straight in bed and cried, "Who's there?" I stood quite still. For a whole hour I did not move, nor did I hear him again lie down in his bed. He just sat there, listening. Then I heard a low sound, a cry of fear which escaped from the old man. Now I knew he was sitting up in his bed, filled with fear. I knew that he knew that I was there. He did not see me there. He could not hear me there. He felt me there. Now he knew death was standing there. Slowly, little by little, I lifted the cloth until a small, small light escaped from under it to fall upon that vulture eye. It was open, wide, wide open, and my anger increased as it looked straight at me. I could not see that old man's face, only that eye, that hard blue eye, and the blood in my body became like ice. Have I not told you that my hearing had become unusually strong? Now I could hear a quick, low, soft sound, like the sound of a clock heard through a wall. It was the beating of the old man's heart. I tried to stand quietly, but the sound grew louder. The old man's fear must have been great indeed. And as the sound grew louder, my anger became greater and more painful. But it was more than anger. In the quiet night, in the dark silence of the bedroom, my anger became fear, for the heart was beating so loudly that I was sure someone must hear. The time had come. I rushed into the room, crying, "Die, die." The old man gave a loud cry of fear as I fell upon him and held the bed covers tightly over his head. Still, his heart was beating, but I smiled as I felt that success was near. For many minutes that heart continued to beat, but at last the beating stopped. The old man was dead. I took away the bed covers and held my ear over his heart. There was no sound. Yes, he was dead, dead as a stone. His eye would trouble me no more. So I am mad, you say. You should have seen how careful I was to put the body where no one could find it. First, I cut off the head, then the arms and the legs. I was careful not to let a single drop of blood fall on the floor. I pulled up 3 of the boards that formed the floor and put the pieces of the body there. Then I put the boards down again, carefully, so carefully that no human eye could see that they had been moved. As I finished this work, I heard that someone was at the door. It was now 4 o'clock in the morning, but still dark. I had no fear, however, as I went down to open the door. 3 men were at the door, 3 officers of the police. One of the sat talking with me in a friendly way, but although I answered them in the same way, I soon wished that they would go. My head hurt, and there was a strange sound in my ears. I talked more and faster. The sound became clearer, and they still sat and talked. Suddenly, I knew that the sound was not in my ears. It was not just inside my head. At that moment, I must become quite white. I talked still faster and louder, and the sound, too, became louder. It was a quick, low, soft sound, like the sound of a clock heard through the wall, a sound I knew well. Louder it became, and louder. Why did the men not go? Louder, louder. I stood up and walked quickly around the room. I pushed my chair across the floor to make more noise, to cover that terrible sound. I talked even louder, and still the men sat and talked and smiled. Was it possible that they could not hear? No, they heard. I was certain of it. They knew. Now it was they who were playing a game with me. I was suffering more than I could bear from their smiles and from that sound. Louder, louder, louder. Suddenly I could bear it no longer. I pointed at the boards and cried, "Yes, yes, I killed him. Pull up the boards and you shall see. I killed him, but why does his heart not stop beating? Why does it not stop?" The next couple of short little stories are about the black-eyed children. They are assorted, so I don't know authors, but if anyone does know, please let me know in the comments. Number 1, Children in the Snow. In January 2016, a woman in Vermont made the tragic mistake of letting 2 black-eyed children into her home. A blizzard was raging outside when she heard a faint knocking on her front door. A boy and a girl stood there, shivering, begging to use her phone. Unnerved by their presence, the woman nevertheless let them in and went to retrieve her phone. After the children walked into the light of the family room, the woman realized their eyes were completely black. As she stared at them in horror, her husband's nose began to bleed at the same time that the power suddenly went out. After what felt like an eternity, the children spoke in unison, saying their parents had arrived. The woman watched as the 2 quietly left her house and entered a nondescript black car with a man in a suit. Not long after the strange encounter, the woman's husband was diagnosed with severe skin cancer. The woman began to suffer from regular nosebleeds and an onslaught of other medical issues. She has been convinced her failing health, along with her husband's, is the result of the black-eyed children she unwittingly let into her home. Number 2, All Work and No Play. In 2010, a man known as 𝒕𝒊𝒂𝒏 encountered 2 black-eyed teenagers outside his place of work. It was an ordinary July night in Ohio, and 𝒕𝒊𝒂𝒏 was in the middle of a night shift. Craving a cigarette, 𝒕𝒊𝒂𝒏 stepped outside the building and noticed 2 teenage boys across the street. As he smoked, he realized that the boys were staring at him. Weary, 𝒕𝒊𝒂𝒏 returned to the safety of his cubicle and tried to refocus on work, only to see through the security cameras that the boys had appeared in the front of his building, motioning for him to come outside. Fed up, eyes away from the video feed. Number 3. The Boy by the Truck. On March 17th, 2008, a 12-year-old boy had a bone-chilling experience in an outlet parking lot. While waiting in his mother's truck for his mother to finish getting a haircut, he saw a boy walking across the parking lot. Thinking it was a friend from school, the boy banged on the window until the other boy turned. Realizing it was not his friend, the boy in the truck watched in confusion as the strange kid walked up and stared through the window. The boy caught one glance at the other boy's solid black eyes and knew he was staring into the face of evil. "You must let me in," the black-eyed boy demanded. Panicked, the boy in the car crouched under the glove compartment. After several minutes, the black-eyed boy finally disappeared. When the boy's mother returned to the truck, she informed her son that the black-eyed child had come into the salon, demanding the keys to her vehicle. Thankfully, the boy's mother did not give in. We have a couple more. Let's see how many I can get through. Number 4. Bumps in the night. One night, a man was dozing in the spare bed in his infant daughter's room when he heard a strange bump outside his house. Initially, the man thought nothing of it, believing it to be the family cat. But the thumps continued. The man checked the porch, but the cat was nowhere to be found. He then walked into the kitchen and found 2 figures loitering outside his front door. They knocked on the door. Both were boys around 10 or 11 and gave off a pungent, moldy odor. "May we use your telegraph?" one of the boys said, looking up at the man. To his horror, the man realized both boys had eyes that were completely black. Ignoring the odd remark about a telegraph, the man told the boy he didn't have service in his house and shut the door. As the man slowly made his way back to his daughter's room, the 2 boys thumped on the walls. The man clutched his daughter to his chest as the boys incessantly knocked against the window. Their eerie eyes and awful persistence made the man too scared to fall asleep. He remained crouched on the floor of the room for several hours, fighting to ignore the knocks that occurred every couple of minutes. The moment his wife's alarm clock went off, however, the knocking ceased and the black-eyed children were nowhere to be seen. I think I can fit maybe one more. Number 5. Treats and tricks. One October day, a man was walking up to his front door when he realized that his neighbor hadn't set out his typical array of Halloween decorations. He spotted his neighbor and asked him about it. The neighbor informed him that a terrifying experience the year prior deterred him from participating in Halloween that year. It was around midnight, the neighbor recounted, when he heard a knock on his door. Thinking it was a band of late-night trick-or-treaters, the man grabbed a bowl of candy and shuffled to the door. He swung the door open and was about to greet the 2 male teens when his body became rigid with fear. Both boys had pitch-black eyes, void of any white around their irises. One of the boys asked to come in and use the phone. Luckily, as the man was overwhelmed with dread, the man refused. Okay, that is it for the stories tonight. I hope you all enjoyed. some spooky, spooky stories. I also wanted to take the time to thank you all endlessly for 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna keep it brief because my 1,000 subscriber special video is still coming up, but I am so honored that so many of you resonate with my videos and enjoy them, and it has been such a treat to interact with each and every single one of you in the comments or on TikTok or Twitter or wherever it may be. And I just want to say again that for 1,000 subscribers, I am doing a little subscribers to ASMR video. So if you'd like to participate